Hello guys, okay, so welcome back to another video of our project analysis. So for today, we'll be talking about the next blockbuster launch of 2025, and that's Springleaf Residence.
Okay, so for those of you who have missed out on the Lentor wave 3 years ago, this might be something you can consider.
Okay, so for Springleaf, we have one bidder all the way to 5 bidders. So it caters to all kinds of buyers. So one of the major concerns for this project, I think, would be that even though there is MRT directly 2 minutes away, sheltered walkway, but there are no schools nearby. Okay, but this we will address later, whether we think it's worth it or not worth it to buy into it.
So one interesting thing about this project is, for those of you who are very familiar with Lentor Mansion, they also have this priority VIP booking system, same like Lentor Mansion. So for those of you who have bought from the developer before, you might be eligible for the VIP booking.
Yeah. Okay, so Springleaf Residence is a joint venture between two reputable developers, Hong Leong and Coco Land. Okay, so there's 941 units, 909 units at the 5 residential towers, and 32 units at the conserve building. So the conserve building was actually Upper Thomson Secondary School. Okay, so 99 years from 2024, estimated TOP 2029, vacant possession 2031. Okay, so there are 759 car park lots. So as mentioned in our previous videos, most of the time the car park lots now won't be one-to-one, especially when it's 2 minutes to MRT. Okay, so pretty straightforward for this one. And so for the developers, past track records, of course, Lentor Modern, Lentor Mansion, Coco, actually they are the majority player, like they are one of the biggest player in Lentor. Yeah, that is why they are now starting another township in Springleaf. Okay. Yeah, so Midtown Modern, Midtown Bay, and also Voco Midtown, Coco Tower. So these two developers, they're finishing, you don't need to worry, it's all top-notch one. For location-wise, Springleaf Residence is 2 minutes away from MRT. So Thomson East Coast Line, straightforward. 2 bus stops to Woodlands South. It also gets you to Orchard easily. This is part of the new MRT system that government is coming on.
So for those of you who have been keeping up with the news for the Thomson East Coast Line, recently they also added the Changi, Tanah Merah, and Expo into the Thomson East Coast Line, right? So you have very direct access to in Changi in future, and then you don't have to transit in between stations anymore.
Yeah, basically easier accessibility and connectivity throughout the whole Singapore now. Okay, like what we mentioned earlier, now Springleaf over this side. Okay, 2 stops, 3 stops to Woodlands. Okay, then all the way you can go until Bedok South, Bedok North, and then there will also be Changi Airport, all those okay.
Okay, so we go to the unit mix. So there's actually a very good unit mix for this project, 1 to 5 bedder, and it caters to all profile. Okay, one interesting thing about this project is because of the previous site, right? So currently they actually have this conservation building inside the project. Okay, so very interesting. The concept is like a school. Okay, and they have 32 units inside this conservation building. This is actually the 1 to 3 bedders. If you're looking to 4 or 5 bedders, then they don't have inside the conservation building. But 1 to 3 they have. Okay, and it's a very different layout. We'll share with you all more about the layout later.
Okay, for the site plan, so it's a huge mega development, 900 plus units, 2 minutes to MRT. There's good views throughout. So the north facing, so where's north? North is over this side. This is north. So north side, you're facing Springleaf Forest. South, you're facing forest and nature park as well, but there is SLE also. Okay, then west side, you are facing the Springleaf Forest and SLE as well.
Okay, so for the south facing, right, it's actually facing this area. So for the view, you actually face this Thomson Nature Park. Okay, very nice view if we are on a higher floor. Alright, now we move on to the west facing. For the west facing, you actually face Bukit Timah Nature Reserve, Upper Seletar Reservoir Park, Upper Seletar Reservoir, and also Springleaf Forest.
So for the north side, what we are getting basically is all forested views. So pretty unblocked throughout. Up till now, there's no government developments all around. So, okay.
Because this is actually like the first plot in this whole area. So you get this very good view as well.
Yeah. So before we talk about the layouts, which we normally do, this question will be in your mind. Whether we can buy into this project or not when there's no schools in the proximity. Yeah, so will it still be profitable?
We draw 3 examples for you. This is Candice Residences. This is the first example at Sembawang. It's actually located quite a distance away from Sembawang MRT, even further from the Canberra Crescent Residences, which has just launched. And then as you can see, the highest profit has go up to as high as 217,000. And then this project, if you know the location, is actually quite a distance away from MRT, and they don't really have schools nearby. Alright?
Yep, so next example, let's take a look at Normanton Park. So Normanton Park, I'm pretty sure everybody know. Yeah, it was a mega development here. So there's a lot of forests, greenery views, a lot of our friends bought into it as well, and they're all profitable. So highest you actually get like 762K, average profit around 200 plus thousand, and furthermore, it's not even near any MRT and it's still profitable. So last time when it launched, right, everybody say not near MRT, developer, there are some issue with the developer lah. Okay, so not near MRT, mega project, how to buy, whether easy to exit or not, but you can see lah, so it was quite easy for everybody to exit as well. Even a few of our agent friends, they bought, they already exited and moved on already. Yep, for the last example, we can look at Cambridge Hill Residences. So it's not near any school within 2 km. Okay, average profit also close to 200K, highest 610K.
Okay, so lastly, Linden Woods just launched recently. On the first day, 96% sold on the first day. Okay, so for this project also no schools within 1 kilometer. Okay, but they actually have a very high take-up rate. So why people still buy into Linden Woods? One thing very similar with Springleaf is they actually have this MRT very nearby. Alright, so Springleaf, if you know, is actually sheltered all the way to the MRT. Okay, and then of course for the pricing as well, for Linden Woods, the prices that they actually release on the launch day is very attractive. And according to the guide price that Springleaf developer has released, the pricing is actually also very attractive. So we have to see on the launch day.
Yeah.
Okay?
So for amenities wise, in close proximity to Springleaf, right, you have Lentor Modern, which is one stop way to Lentor MRT. And future, because this is Parcel B, Parcel A will be launching next, and Parcel A will have mixed, and you have eateries and everything. It's a mixed development, and it's 2 stops to Woodlands, Causeway Point, and that's where you do your groceries. So what's the opportunity here? The opportunity here is right now you're at Parcel B. Parcel A actually launched earlier, but due to some issue, they couldn't manage to get sold lah. So right now, you are actually entering at a lower price compared to Parcel A, because Parcel A high likely will be more expensive. Even though it's directly connected to MRT, but you are just 2 minutes away. So there's not too much of a difference unless you want to stay on top of the MRT lah in future, likely an integrated development lah. Yeah. So in this case, it actually quite makes a lot of sense to enter into Springleaf now if you have the chance. Okay, but of course, let's elaborate more later. So today for our analysis, what we will touch on is this VIP priority. So we will not go into layout first, we'll touch on this first, because why? The easier you can buy, it's also the easier you can make a mistake. Yeah, so VIP priority, a lot of people can get this VIP priority, which we will list out for you guys later. So 3 major concerns for VIP priority. One is there are too many options. Let's say you can book on a day before. Yeah, there's too many options, you have too little data, and very little time to make a decision, because everybody will be swarming in, it's quite packed lah. Okay, so meaning if you get to buy in 1 day earlier, it's very important that you don't make a wrong purchase and buy wrongly, because 1 day earlier you actually have a very good opportunity to actually get a very good unit, so they have like immediate capital appreciation.
Okay, so for the priority booking, some example of the past project by Hong Leong and Coco is all these. And if you are a direct buyer previously, or if you are eligible, later we'll touch on the eligibility, you will be entitled to a VIP priority booking. So VIP priority booking is very important because you get to book 1 day before the public. Okay, so this is where you can get the capital appreciation before the public comes in and book lah. Why do we say so? Because later we'll show you some examples of the past project that these developers actually have done the same thing, and how the owners actually gain a profit by booking in the VIP day, on the VIP day. Okay?
Okay, so these are the requirements for VIP priority. So we'll just leave it on here. Right now you're watching the video, you can just pause lah. But basically, direct buyers of their properties, the new launch last time, you are eligible. Yeah, so almost, I think, a good percentage of people can be able to go for the priority queue. Okay?
Okay, so the indicative pricings are actually very attractive. Average is about 2001 PSF for this project. 2 bed about 1 million, 3 bed about 1.6, which is actually very rare in the current market. Okay, pricing wise, quite similar to Campbell Crescent Residences, okay, CCR. But location, I would say, in my opinion, will be slightly better than CCR because of the MRT. Alright.
So we can take a look at the accepted average cost of new launches in Singapore right now. So 2345 bedder, the average you can see everything is above 2,000. 22, 24, 25 Alta, Jaden 24, yeah. So all above 2.1. So this Springleaf, the prices like what we mentioned earlier, indicative 2000 to 2002. Basically, it's like going back last year to buy or even 3 years ago to buy a unit. And furthermore, this is harmonized. Yeah, so very, very good still.
Okay, so what do we have to take note on the VIP priority booking day? Okay, why is it important? Because if you are a VIP buyer, you get to buy 1 day earlier and you will get to stand to gain the paper gain before the mass booking from the public. Okay, we'll show you some example, draw reference to the landlord mentioned. VIP priority is actually on the 15th of March, okay, and the mass booking day is on the 16th of March. So those people who buy in on the 15th, right, they gain about 100k paper gains immediate. Why I say so? You can see for example, this unit at 0707, they actually bought in at 1.176 million, okay, and then on the next day somebody bought in at 1.288 million. So this is about 100k difference. Okay, another example for the 3-bedder is on the 15th of March, there's one buyer bought in on the $2.289 million. Okay, and the next day somebody actually bought in the same floor at 2.354 million. So that's about 70k difference. Yeah, so the buyer who bought in on the 15th actually gained 70k of paper profit just within a day.
Yeah, so the pacing may be different, but of course what you stand to gain here is your exit will be way easier than your competitors now because you're buying way cheaper. Yeah, but for VIP priority purchase, right, this will be the following problems that we touched on just now. Too many choice, too little data, very little time to decide. Yeah, so this is why today we have a 5-step strategy, right, for you buyers out there who are VIPs. We'll call you VIPs from now on. Yeah, so you are VIP and we have this strategy for you to prepare for the priority purchase 1 day before the booking day. Okay, so buyers out there who are VIP, please pay super attention to what we are saying. Yeah, regardless you have agent serving you or not, your agent must be able to assist you well when you're going for priority. Yeah, so if they're a bit blur, you can ask them to watch our video.
Okay, so now we will be going through the 5 steps that we mentioned earlier. The 5 steps is very important if let's say you're eligible for the VIP booking, what you should take note. Okay, so the first step is to categorize yourself into one of these category. Okay, so why do we say so? Because those people who are able to buy 2-bed 1-bath, usually you will be able to buy a 2-bed 2-bath. Then for those of you who have buy 2-bed 2-bath, right, you'll be able to stretch a bit to 3-bed compact, and then from 3-bed compact you'll be able to stretch to 3-bed premium. So these are the buyers that on the ground we actually realize that those looking at 2-bed 2-bath, usually they will be looking at 2-bed 1-bath as well and things like that. Okay, so just categorize yourself into one of the category. That's the first step you should do. Okay.
Yep. So for step 2 is calculate and make decision lah. Basically, on booking day, you have to take prices of the 2-bed premium and 3-bed compact with the same facing. So for example, I give you the stack here. For example, you take 10 floor for 646 square feet for 2-bed premium, stack 29, and you go for stack 28 for 10 floor 786 square feet. So you have to calculate whether it makes sense for you to upsize or not. You compare the differences in the price. So for example, if the difference is 300,000, then the difference in size is 786 minus 646 here is 140 square feet. So 140 square feet you divide by, you 300k divided by 140 square feet is 2142 PSF. Okay, so today for example, the 2-bed premium, stack 29, the PSF you're buying in is actually 2001 for example. But right now you see if the upsize is 2142, it's above the 2001 that you are buying in for your 2-bed premium. Okay, so this means right, the upgrade to the 3-bed compact is actually not very worth it because you're paying for the same PSF as you're buying a 2-bed premium. Yeah, so in this juncture, you should really consider whether you want a 3-bedder or not.
But if the difference in the price divided by 140 square feet is actually lower than 2001 PSF, the PSF that you are buying for the 2-bed premium, right, then it's actually more worth it because technically you are upgrading at a discounted rate. But if let's say you do the math and then the difference in the price divided by 147 square feet comes out to be maybe 2008, 3000, then of course stay put at 2-bed premium will do. Okay, so if let's say if it's the same or quite similar, then okay, the upsize makes sense. So you have to see the upsize in the PSF wise, does it make sense or not? If let's say you are going at the upsize is actually 1007 PSF, right, then go for it. Okay?
Yeah. So some of you may be lost right now, but remember the step 1 is to categorize yourself into which category. Okay, now step 2, now you have decided which size you are going for. So what's next? We are going to find out which facing we are going to buy. Because there are 4 facings. So many different facings. Okay, so step 3, we find out the premium on the facing. So what do we do? So different facing got different premium. So take one of the size, let's say we take a 3-bedder, we compare all the compact ones to see the premium on the facing by PSF, by PSF. So we take C1786 square feet versus C2A18 square feet. You can take all the 10th floor to find out all the PSF premium. So I list out for you already. So for C1, from stack 28, 25, 20, 12, 8, 5, you take all the facing. And you take all the PSF premium. Then you go to C2 SLE highway facing, stack 10, stack 18. So you take the PSF, then you compare throughout, and you see which one have a higher premium, higher loading. So if you find out that the premium for a pool facing or a forest facing is like 10%, then you don't want, then of course the facing there you can avoid already, you can focus on others. Yeah.
Okay, so after finding out the facing, what's next? Okay, so step 4 is the layout. Okay, so you have to compare the layout and see which layout actually fits you the most, which we will be touching on later on the layout, on which layout we feel that is more superior and whatnot. So after you have decided on the layout, and then you can actually zoom into the stack. Alright?
Yeah. So step 1, categorize. Refresh again because it's confused. Step 1, categorize. Step 2, you find out whether it makes sense for you to upsize or not. Step 3, find out the facing. Step 4, you find out the layout that you want. Then we go to the final step. We find out the floor level premium. Yeah, so you can roughly take 5 levels pricing. So 15th floor divided by 5, you take 15, 12, 9, 6, 3 floor. Then from there you can map out the full price of the stack and you can see where your budget brings you. So following this 5-step strategy that we have, right, you'll be able to make a more swift and decisive decision on what to buy on VIP priority day. Yeah, especially if you have a very good, imagine your VIP priority, you're number 1. Well, you have to really faster go and take the price. So someone will take the price, right? Every time it's like 3 to 6 units you can take. You cannot take like everything one shot. Yep. So you have to stay alert. Today VIPs you have to stay alert. You have to make sure you know what exactly is happening and then follow these 5 steps. Then you'll be pretty good to go. You won't buy wrongly.
Okay, so for the 2-bedroom layout, okay, let's touch on the 2-bedroom layout. For 2-bed, 1 bath, only 1 layout, which is this layout. Okay, pretty standard layout. You get the kitchen, you get the master bath, you get the master bedroom, the common bedroom, balcony, living. But one thing to note is for this layout, right, you actually get this designated dining area, okay, which is actually very nice. It doesn't, because some 2-bed, 1 bath you have seen, the dining is actually out of nowhere, right? So when you walk, then a bit weird. Okay, so this one you actually have this designated dining area for you to actually place your dining without blocking the walkway. Okay. Prices start at 1.078 million, which is actually very attractive.
Yeah. So for 2-bed, 2 bath, similar layout to previous. The difference comes in, right? The dining area right now you can enclose it over here. Yeah, and it doesn't block the walkway also. And right now your dining area is bigger. You can put a 6-seater. Right now the balcony is 3.1 meter wide. Balcony and living, while the other layout just now, the 527 square feet is 2.8 meters wide. So price start at 1,338,000. Very good pricing also. Yeah. Then we move on to 2-bed comparison. We're not touching so much on the layout specifically right now because it's honestly it's pretty much standard now. We just go into whether which one you should buy.
Okay, so we list out the different. The difference in size is actually about 119 square feet. Okay, multiplied by about 2001 PSF. It comes up to be about 250,000. So the big question here is it worth to top up 250,000 for 2-bed, 2 bath? Okay?
Yeah. So for 2-bed, 1 bath and 2-bed, 2 bath, you refer to the table over here. The differences is here. 2-bed, 1 bath, open kitchen, 2-bed, 2 bath, and closable. Then after that, the 2-bed, 1 bath, 2.8 meter, 2-bed, 2 bath, 3.1, then 1 toilet extra. Okay, so normally for you to upgrade to a 2-bed, 2 bath, it's actually around 200 plus 200,000. So right now you got the following attributes that makes it even better. The wider frontage also. So it's 250k safe. Of course, for us, we will definitely recommend you going for the 2-bed 2-bath as it's easier to exit in future also for own-stay buyers. 2-bed 1-bath, honestly, maybe just try to avoid if you are looking for a short-term gameplay. If you want 2-bed 1-bath, it's like rental and sell at the same time.
Okay, move on to the 3-bed. So for 3-bedroom, we actually have many layouts. We have the basic, we have the standard, and we have the plus. Okay, so for basic, let's touch on about the basic first.
Yeah, so for the 3-bedder basic, 786 square feet. Okay, so let me explain the layout a little bit. So you have 1, 2, 3, you have 6 layouts. So you have 6 stacks, 1, 2, 4 units. But what is this interesting thing about this 3-bed compact, 3-bed basic, 3-bed compact? You don't have ventilation in the house. Yeah. So normally you 3-bedder homestay, you will need ventilation in the toilet. You will need ventilation in the kitchen. Okay, but you can see right now, kitchen, there are no windows. The bath, no windows also. Bath, no windows. So there's no proper ventilation in the house. Yeah. So compact layout, you get a dumbbell layout. 3 proper bedrooms. You never compromise on the size. But the downside here is the kitchen, toilet, no ventilation. So own stay, not so desirable, I would say.
But if let's say today you're on a budget, okay, then yes, this makes perfect sense for you because of the low entry price. This layout actually starts from 1.618 million, okay?
Yeah, so for next layout, this C2 818 square feet, okay, this layout, I love it. Okay, so this layout is a bit typical conventional BTO layout, but slightly better. Why? Even though it's compact also, you get ventilation here, you get ventilation here and here. So what you can do, let's say you don't want the open kitchen concept, you can just enclose this. Yeah, but you'll get a very small walkway over here. Or you can start to over here, this side. Okay, it's up to you. But the proper ventilation and also the enclosable kitchen, this actually makes it like quite a desirable layout for people with a tighter budget. You don't want to upsize even more. I would think this is a very good starter unit for you, starter pack. But there's only 40 units, so there's not a lot of units to choose from. There's only 2 stacks also, and they're facing SLE. Okay.
So let's compare these two layouts, okay? For this 786 as compared to the 818 square feet layout, for the kitchen, one is open, one is enclosable. The smaller one is actually a dumbbell layout, and then for the bigger one is a traditional layout, which is actually more sought after for 3-bedroom, okay? And then the smaller one actually don't have so much privacy in terms of the foyer area, but for the bigger size, you actually have this privacy because the foyer, once you come in, they actually cannot look into your house, okay? Ventilation wise, 818 actually have better proper ventilation, and then but one downside for this bigger unit is, although this the layout that we feel that is more superior, right? One downside is actually SLE facing, but for the smaller unit it's actually quieter facing. But later we'll show you more data on highway facing. Is it still profitable or not? That's one big question everybody wants to know, right? Like if let's say I buy, I'm okay with the noise, but is it still profitable? We'll show you more data later.
Yeah. So for these 2 layout, the basic one, of course, our top choice would be the 3-bed basic 818 square feet. Basically, it's just for the cross ventilation and enclosable kitchen, which we feel is very essential for 3-bedder because it's confirmed for own stay. Yeah. So one more important factor to note is, right now I see a lot of developers, they come out with dumbbell 3-bedder layout. But buyers out there, today you have to take note. We don't even know whether right now dumbbell 3-bedder layout in the market, it's not tested and proven that is accepted yet. So this is one wow factor that everybody needs to be wary about, okay?
So one example on the highway facing, right, the Clement canopy, one side is actually facing the highway. So as you can see, right, those AYE facing is still actually profitable as compared to those non-highway facing units.
Yeah. So another example, of course, Normanton Park, which we mentioned earlier. So there are highway facing, non-highway facing. Highway facing still profitable. Of course, it comes a little bit with a sound, but through all these projects, right, we know people still can accept. Yeah.
Okay, so 3-bed standard, just now we touched on the basic, now we go to the standard. Okay, so 3-bed standard, what's the difference? This actually very similar to the previous layout, but what's the difference? You actually get this flex area and also the wet and dry kitchen. Okay, kitchen wise, you still can enclose the kitchen, the wet kitchen if let's say you want to enclose, and this is actually a very nice layout. Okay, flexi room can serve as a store, a helper's room, or even a 4th bedroom if let's say a 4th bedroom is quite required, because you can see the flex area is actually it's quite a big space. So if let's say you want to fit a single bed, right, no problem with that.
Yeah, so this layout also pretty awesome. Okay, so for this starting price will be at 1.898 million, around 1.9 million lah. Okay.
So okay, 3-bed standard second layout. Okay, this one is a bit different. The noticeable difference is the foyer area. So this one you actually have a longer foyer. Okay, the rest is more or less the same. You have the flexi room, you have the wet and dry kitchen. Flexi room you also can use your 4th bedroom. But the slight difference is the living area is actually a 34 square meter as compared to the previous layout is 32. So 2 square meter difference in the resale market. Honestly, if you have seen resale listing, when you go in 2 square meter, you cannot really feel one.
Unless today the layout they changed, like from portrait to landscape, then you can feel the difference.
So for 22 square feet more, based on 2001 PSF average, around it comes out to be around 46,000. Is it worth it or not?
Yeah, I would say 46,000. I would say you can prioritize C3, the earlier layout first. But because C3 only has 50 units, right? So if you really can't, then no choice, you have to move on to C4 lah. Okay. Yep. So for the next standard layout, this will be 926 square feet. So this is actually the same layout. The difference right now here is actually this part also, the foyer. Okay, so there's no privacy foyer. This person can just look everything inside the house lah, okay? But then not very big concern also because right now all the units are like this.
Okay, so this is another layout for the standard. Similar layout, the difference is also the long foyer lah. So honestly, not much different, I would say.
Yeah, but for 958 square feet right now compared to just now 926, it's a bit of a wasted space over here for this long foyer here because technically you don't need this long foyer. Yeah. So we move on to conclude the 3-bed standard. Okay. So for this, the ranking of choice, C3 top choice, followed by C4, C5, and C6. Yeah, so all layouts pretty similar. The difference comes in the foyer. Yeah, the most desirable of course is C3. Layout very nice, efficient. Basically you get the same functionality at a way lower cost than the rest. Yeah, but if your queue is not good, go to C4, top up a little bit more. Then if it really still not good, then go for C5 lah. You similar size but you compromise a bit on the privacy. Yeah, last choice of course will be the 958 square feet because the foyer is too long. Yeah, you are paying for unnecessary space.
Okay, now let's touch on the 3-bed plus. Okay, 3-bed plus main difference is I would say is the home shelter, household shelter. Okay, otherwise more or less the same. Living area is a bit different. This is actually 8.25 meter compared to the previous is 7.3 meter.
Longish lah.
Then and also the flex room, the location is a bit different. This one is actually nearer to the master room. Okay?
Yeah. Okay, so one more extra bonus is it comes with the third bath over here. Yeah, so I tell you this layout will be most ideal for people who are a little bit of a clean freak over here. Like OCD, like when you go to your friend's house, you have to wash your feet before going in. But some people are just way more particular. Yeah, but this will be the most ideal because the person come in and straight go to the toilet, then clean the feet already, then you come out, go to other places. Because normally you need to go to their kitchen or their common bath to clean your feet. Okay.
Especially if the toilet facing is from the walkway.
Yeah.
Then you have to walk all the way to the walkway, then they can wash. But this one is straight away go inside wash already, so the legs clean already.
Yeah, interesting lah. Okay, but the price for this starts at 2.148 million. So for an extra bomb shelter and a third bathroom, it will start from 2.1 million. This will be ideal for maybe OCD people. Just kidding. Yep. So for the next layout, C8 stack 7. We have 21 units over here. So this layout also pretty similar. 1076 square feet compared to 1023 square feet. Living also 8.25 meter wide over here. No noticeable difference also, just a longer in this long foyer over here. Yeah, so again, do you want to pay for like long walkway? I mean, ultimately it's up to you. So we go to the 3-bed plus comparison. So right now, C7 versus C8, of course, we will support 1023 square feet C7 lah, because same functionality. Of course, you see, we focus a lot on functionality layout. Yeah, functionality is the same, just a longer walkway. You pay 100k more for extra foyer because average 2.1k. Not really ideal in my opinion lah, because functionality never change, layout never change. So this we will prefer C7. So buyers out there, if you can, please go for C7. If really no choice, then if you really want a 3-bed plus, like you need a home shelter, then you go for C8 lah.
Okay, so now we will make a comparison between the standard and the plus to see which one makes more sense for you. So for standard and plus, which one should we go for and which layout we feel that is more superior? Okay, both you get 3-bedroom, you get the flexi room. The difference is slightly in the bigger living area and the third bathroom that Alvin mentioned, and also the bomb shelter. Okay, so let's say we do the math, about 2001 PSF average is about 250,000 more. To upsize to a 3-bed premium with third bath, home shelter and bigger living. Is it worth or not?
Yeah. So for, I would say the bigger living, you can't really feel it in the resale market. Like what I mentioned earlier, it doesn't make a difference when your orientation doesn't change. Yeah. So once again, we have to see how much is the difference in the actual PSF. Yeah. Then we see, for example, let's say from a 3-bed standard to a 3-bed plus, the upsize is 150,000. So let's say it's 150,000. Okay, then 150,000 divided by 119 square feet. Then the PSF is 1260. And then of course it makes sense for you to upsize to this with a bomb shelter because you're getting a bigger unit with a better functionality at a discount. But of course right now, if the PSF is 2.1k because of the price difference, right, like it's 250k gap, then it doesn't really make sense lah, because you're not getting a discounted upgrade. So if based on rough estimates, we might not make the upgrade, but of course we will need to see actual prices to decide whether we'll make the upgrade or not lah. Okay, and home shelter and a third bathroom, I don't think it will make a very big difference in your life lah, honestly.
Because why for the bomb shelter, you actually have this flex room already.
Yeah.
Let's say you don't have this flex room, then it's a different story. But you have a flex room, so bomb shelter is really not it will be kind of underutilized.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we move on to the 4 bedrooms. Okay, so 4 bedroom 1227 square feet. We have 113 units, bigger balcony, longer living. So you can see that the balcony is pretty wide. Okay, it's quite a good size 4-bedder. One downside is, I would say, like what we always advocate, 4-bedder and above, I feel we must have landscape layout. So people go in, they see that, wow, so huge. And if let's say, but for this one, this is a portrait layout lah. I mean, if you say you want a wider landscape layout and you can accept a 3-bedder, you can hack away this room. Then, of course, your living will become wider. But the downside is there's this beam over here. So it will be pretty awkward lah, okay? But the prices for this will start at 2.448 million. Very functional, 4-bedder layout. Pretty awesome now, okay, I would say.
okay, so for the second layout, very similar size to the previous layout. The only difference is, I would say, is actually the location for the third bath. Okay, and then also for this layout is actually SLE facing. Alright, if you can see, it's actually this unit, so it's actually facing the SLE. So if you are concerned over the noise issue because it's facing SLE, then D1 might be more suitable for you.
Yeah. Let's move on to the 5-bedders. Okay, so for 5-bedders, 1453 square feet. Well, this is massive lah, guys. Yeah. Yeah. So this is a dumbbell layout. So I noticed something nowadays. 5-6-bedders they will do a generational living layout. Like for example, Bloomsbury also something like that. Like this is a very big size. So generational living, how they give you a junior master here for you to actually live with your parents. Each of you have one side of the house. Okay, so dumbbell layout, proper enclosable kitchen here. So you don't need to enclose yourself. Yeah, but one downside again, like what? No landscape again. Okay, and 5-bedder, no private lift. Okay, it's like you're buying into a premium, but you don't feel shook enough like that. Okay, but also 5 rooms, even though it's big, but the living you can see like we mentioned, not landscape, so it's a little bit small for 5-bedder. 5-bedder probably you have like 7-8 people staying inside. So imagine everybody crowding at the living room. It'll be pretty small. But one option is, of course, hack away this one. Enlarge the living room over here. Yeah. But again, what is the downside over here? Let's see this away. The downside over here will be this thing. You have something in between lah. Okay, so 1453, the 5 bedder. This size I think is pretty awesome, but I will feel this will be better as a 4 bedder layout. This one go away. If today this is a 4 bedder, then I think it's awesome. Awesome.
Okay, so for this 5 bedder, one point that we want to bring up is for this layout, if you realize they actually have a very good ventilation. Why? Because you actually can cross ventilate. This one is window. Okay, so you can actually have cross ventilation, which is actually very rare in the current market to get cross ventilation layout. Okay, but of course, like what Avi mentioned, we prefer a wider living frontage, like a landscape instead of a portrait. Okay.
Yeah. So the price for this starts from 3 million, 3.018 lah. So cross ventilation, I don't think you can find anywhere in the market. It's quite interesting. Honestly, it's really quite interesting. But I think the downside for this cross ventilation, just now I saw, is you see this cross ventilation so right will be over this side and this side. Yeah, so your neighbors behind, they can look inside the house. Yeah, so this is one downside. Okay.
Okay, so for the next layout, very similar layout. The difference is actually for the foyer. It's actually in the foyer, and then also no cross ventilation for this layout. As you can see here, you have that, but then for here it's actually wall.
Yeah.
This side is wall, so there's no cross ventilation. Okay.
Yeah.
So in comparison, we feel that E1, the previous layout, has a more superior layout as compared to this lah.
Okay, so right now. That's all for the previous units. Right now, we'll move on to the units in the conservation school. Okay, so for conservation, we'll just briefly touch on the layout because this one is like you like it lah. Because it's a bit different from your normal units. This one I think they restructure from the classrooms. So if honestly, if you like staying in the classroom, right, maybe this one won't be for you lah. Okay.
It used to be a school.
Yeah, it used to be a school. So quite interesting actually. Like it's like a U shape. Then there's a few in between. Yeah. Okay, so. Your one bedder will only be in this conservation area. Okay, so one bedder 388 square feet. There's no balcony, no balcony over here. Okay, so everything is squarish. Then 3 meter frontage over here. 3 meter. Guys, for a 3 meter frontage for a one bedder, I think it's impossible to find in the market lah. Unless you talk about those very old units. Okay, then the price starts from 878K. Yeah, so if you're an investor looking to park your money somewhere for rental income, there's only 8 units here. Yeah, stack 43 and stack 46. So it's either you get it or don't get it. And another more interesting thing is there's no aircon latch, guys. Yeah, so from my understanding is to be verified, seems like it's central aircon. A compressor is like inside the building. So for the conservation units, there's all no aircon latch.
Okay, so for the 2 bedder, also same as the 1 bedder, no balcony. So you get kind of a bigger living and dining area lah, because you don't have that space wasted in the balcony. Okay, so you get this ultra big space in the living and the dining area, dumbbell layout, private entrance into the foyer, because you actually have this wall over here lah. So if let's say people see, they look like that lah. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so for 3 bedder, 1119 square feet. Okay, so this 3 bedder, same, all no balcony. So ultra wide frontage. These are all windows, guys. Okay, so probably be very bright, and also there'll be wind coming in lah. So sizable kitchen. There's a yard also. Look at the yard, guys. I think you can even fit a single bed there. Okay, so this yard, pretty awesome. Okay, so there's no wastage of walkway space also. It's just a small little entrance here. This will probably be your storage for your shoe cabinets. But one downside is there's a lot of beams in the living room. So it's a little bit awkward. So let me show you. We just did this away. So all these are beams like protruding out somewhere. And you cannot go and like do a wall to enclose it also, because all these are windows. Yeah. But what is the good thing about this, right? You can actually recreate into a 4 or 5 bedroom. Because everything is so squarish. Look at this. Look at this. You can just create one more bedroom here. One more bedroom here. Guys, it's a 5 bedder. 5 5-bedder at a 3-bedder price. But if you got 5-bedder, you have no living room lah. So if you have a 4-bedder, what you have here, let's see. Yeah, you still get a decent living area space. Honestly, is pretty awesome. And I think if you buy and next time you rent out to co-living, wow, I think quite segmented you are, okay? Because very, very squarish. But of course, there's only 8 units. So if you like it, you like it. You don't like it, then you go to the other 3-bedder.
Okay, so for the next 3-bedder, same like the previous layout, you actually get this ultra wide frontage, but the difference is for this layout, you have this very, very, very long balcony. It's very long, from here all the way until here. So this is actually the balcony area. Okay. Otherwise, kitchen area very good. You have this very big kitchen with your big yard, and then you have your very good storage wardrobe area. You have this walk-in closet. Your master room is so huge, very nice. Okay, but I would say this layout is a bit too big for 3-bedder because 1259 square feet usually is for 4-bedder.
Yeah, it's still huge lah. So the quantum, a lot of people cannot digest also. And one funny thing about this balcony is I think my boss mentioned earlier, you can do shuttle run at this balcony. Yeah, quite funny lah. Okay. So also 8 units for this one.
Okay, so we have come to the end of the video. We hope this video actually give you more clarity on what to do if let's say you are eligible for the VIP booking, what to look out for, what is the 5 steps you should do to buy the best possible unit to maximize your capital appreciation, and which you need to avoid, which layout to avoid.
Yeah. So all in all, if you're still unsure what to book, if you want to view the show flat, right, please drop us a message, and we can gladly show you around. So it's already on preview already. Yeah. So for 2 weeks, and after sharing so much about this project, right, being situated in an area with no schools, do you think it's still profitable or not? Yeah, what do you think, Joyce? Yeah, she thinks it's profitable. Of course, I also think it's profitable. Yeah, but I would say maybe can zoom into the 3-bedders because that's what we are intending to do also. Yeah, a really pretty awesome layout, and 2 minutes away from MRT, guys. Is don't need to say it, okay? So let us know what you think about this project in our comment section. Thank you, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.